Section 115. Treatment of importation. Imported goods all be deemed entered in the Philippines for consumption when the goods declaration is electronically lodged together with any required supporting documents with the pertinent customs office. Section 116. Free importation and exportation. Unless otherwise provided by law or regulation, all goods may be freely imported into and exported from the Philippines without need for import and export permits, clearances, and licenses. Section 117. Regulated importation and exportation. Goods which are subject to regulation shall be imported or exported only after securing the necessary goods declaration or export declaration, clearances, licenses, and any other requirements prior to importation or exportation. In case of importation, submission of requirements after arrival of the goods but prior to release from customs custody shall be allowed but only in cases provided by governing laws or regulation. Section 118. Prohibited importation and exportation. The importation and exportation of the following goods are prohibited. A. Written or printed goods in any form containing any matter advocating inciting treason, rebellion, insurrection, sedition against the government of the Philippines, or forcible resistance to any law of the Philippines, or written or printed goods containing any threat to take the life of or inflict bodily harm upon any person in the Philippines. B. Goods, instruments, drugs, and substances designed, intended, or adopted for producing unlawful abortion or any printed matter which advertises, describes, or gives direct or indirect information where, how, or by whom unlawful abortion is committed. Written or printed goods, negatives, or cinematographic films, photographs, engravings, lithographs, objects, paintings, drawings, or other representation of an obscene or immoral character. D. Any goods manufactured in whole or part of gold, silver, or other precious metals or alloys, and the stamp, brand, or mark does not indicate the actual fineness of quality of metals or alloys. E. Any adulterated or misbranded food or goods for human consumption or any adulterated or misbranded drug in violation of relevant laws and regulation. F. Infringing goods as defined under the Intellectual Property Code and related laws. And G. All other goods or parts thereof which imported and exportation are explicitly prohibited by law or rules and regulation issued by the competent authority. Section 119. Restricted importation and exportation. Except when authorized by law or regulation, the importation and exportation of the following restricted goods are prohibited. A. Dynamite, gunpowder, ammunitions and other explosives, firearms, and weapons of war or parts thereof. B. Roulette wheels, gambling outfits, loaded dice, marked cards, machines, apparatus or mechanical devices used in gambling or the distribution of money, cigars, cigarettes, or other goods when such distribution is dependent on chance, including jackpot and pinball machines or similar contrivances or parts thereof. C. Lottery and sweepstakes tickets, except advertisements thereof and list of drawings therein. D. Marijuana, opium, poppies, coca leaves, heroin, or other narcotics or synthetic drugs which are may hereafter be declared habit forming by the President of the Philippines, or any compound, manufactured salt, derivative, or preparation thereof, except when imported by the government of the Philippines or any person duly authorized by the Dangerous Drugs Board for medicinal purposes. E. Opium pipes or parts thereof of whatever material. And F. Any other goods whose importation and exportation are restricted. The restriction to import or export the above stated goods shall include the restriction on their transit.